Pencils of Promise builds schools from the inside out, providing safe structures as well as educational programming for holistic learning around the world. They are committed not only to building school infrastructure, but to creating environments where students can truly learn as well as thrive. And joining us now to share more and give us details about Pencils of Promise, we've got the CEO, Kailee Scales, and we thank you so much, Kailee, for being with us.
Hi, good to have you. Good to be here. Thanks so much, Daren.
No problem. Glad to have you share it with us as well, talking about Pencils of Promise. And when we talk about this organization, your organization, as I said from the outset, building schools from like the inside out. So how did your organization come about?
Pencil of Promise was founded in 2008 by our founder, Adam Braun, who did quite extensive travel throughout the world and noted that and made a point to meet children in his travels. And he always asked a question. He journaled a lot. And he always asked the question of children, if you could have anything in the world, what would you want? And more than once, a child has said that they wanted a pencil. And he realized that that pencil really represented hope and opportunity. And many of the students or children who he came across saw other students in their communities going to school and carrying pencils and knew that that building, that place was a place of imagination and learning. And he realized that there was a real opportunity to transform the world and to provide opportunities to children who may not already have them just based on their circumstances. And so the first Pencils of 2008, and it's just been a snowball effect after that.
Yeah, and you guys really have invested into education, and talk to us about the investment that you're making in terms of your young people and how you're trying to get them to a higher level.
Yeah, so Pencils of Promise has built 560 schools and has served over 110,000 students in Guatemala, Laos, and Ghana. In those countries, people may be surprised to know that having access to primary education is difficult for many people for many reasons. There are barriers to infrastructure. So POP ensures that infrastructure is built from the inside out by building the actual schools. There are teachers that need to be supported in their educational communication with students and ensuring that the students have the right competencies and have the right social emotional learning that is necessary to become full-fledged, amazing human beings that are able to contribute to the world. And so there's teacher support that is very important that POP provides, as well as there are barriers that students have as well to attending school every day. Sometimes there are barriers to them being sick and them not attending school. So POP has a WASH program, which stands for Water, Sanitation, and Hygiene, where we provide access to bathrooms. We teach about teeth brushing. We give menstrual hygiene education so that students have barriers to education removed for them so they're able to be present in classroom and contribute to learning.
Yeah. And when we talk about learning, it's a very, challenging environment, given the fact of COVID-19. Many people have resulted into virtual learning. But talk to us about how this has impacted that social, emotional learning environment, because trying to navigate virtually is totally different than in person.
Absolutely. We see that here in the United States, right? We see that in our backyards. We understand how it is. Many of our children, I have two children, they've been out of school for quite some time. This is the first time they're back in school after 18 months. So we see this challenge around the world in different ways. Our POP communities have been fortunate. Many have experienced different things, but many have been able to keep school open. Many have had school remain. So, and others have adapted to remote learning with our radio school program. Ghana in particular has a radio school program where over 2,100,000 children were able to participate in learning and learn new things through the radio, because it's again been difficult to be in a classroom. In Laos, we've been able to keep school in session due to very low transmittal rates, which has been great. And in the meantime, we've been able to stay in deep contact with our teachers and supporting our teachers and making sure that we have text communication and are able to bring teachers together for additional training and support so that they're still able to be there for their students.
Yeah. What are you hearing from your teachers, given the fact that it is this challenged environment? How are they faring?
How is everyone faring?
That's
It's
true.
It's a pretty uncertain time. As I said, all of our schools are up and running. And the ones that have been established since the beginning, and many have continued to be in session. Teachers stay in close contact with each other, with the community, with our United States headquarters, in order to make sure that they feel supported and they're there for their students. When teachers are able to teach, they're teaching. When teachers have to be remote and support their students remotely, they're doing that. When teachers are able to provide radio education, they're doing that. So it's tough for teachers everywhere, as they've been missing this face-to-face connection with students, but we're adapting, and we are, again, serving children when we can in person.
Yeah. And so as we're looking now about building classrooms, I want to talk about that for a second, because it's really the work that you do, going in and helping to really establish a classroom. And not just the classroom, you got the teacher, you got the students, you got the equipment, and really the full scope. How do you go about doing that?
Our team is amazing. So our teams work in consultation with our country governments to ensure that there are all the regulations and requirements for each country is executed at the top level. We have high-class architects that work in each of our countries that think about the school builds, ensure that the school builds are in compliance with the country. Then we recruit teachers from within the community, so that the schools and the teachers reflect the students and the community, because it's a community effort. Everyone is building towards something together, and the school represents quite a bit. And it's always a celebration when a school is opened and we break ground. And our students, again, look up to our teachers and connect with them. So it's important that they reflect the community. And then POP continues to stay in touch with the community and the teachers, and ensure that the teachers have the support that they need to ensure that the students have the competencies that they need.
How does the public support the work that you guys do? I mean, you're doing great work internationally and really building up lives and building up people. How can the public play a part?
Yeah. So the public can always go to pencilsofpromise.org and hear more about our work and watch amazing, inspiring videos about our school builds and get to know our leadership, get to know our students, get to know our teachers, understand the curriculum, understand a lot of the activities that we engage in, learn more about WASH. They're able to join our passport program, so they're getting updates quarterly to hear more about us. Obviously, social media is a big impact in the way that we get information. So please go and follow us at Pencil of Promise on all social media channels, where we have additional content. We do interviews and spotlights on individuals that are doing amazing work in country. So many ways keep in touch.
Yeah. And coming up in the future, what can people expect from Pencil of Promise?
Well, Pencils of Promise is working to scale smart. We're working to increase our school builds by 25 schools per year. We're looking to retrofit all of our schools with our WASH programming, all of which is very exciting. And this fall, we'll be premiering a program special that will be streamed across all platforms called A Story of Promise. So those who may only know Pencil of Promise through our amazing high-level celebrity endorsements and celebrity influencers that are a part of the organization, but may not know the full story and may not know everyone who makes an impact in their communities every day, can tune in December. And again, more information on our website, so that you can really feel the impact of what Pencils of Promise does every day.
Yeah. And when we talk about impact, I know it's got to be a great feeling knowing that you're really not just transforming lives, but in many ways, you're transforming communities that lack in the basic necessity of being able to have an educational future.
Absolutely. I think it's really important to understand that education really unlocks our potential, and especially primary education. And the symbol of a pencil, which allows us to get what is inside of us outside, is so important to ensure that students and people everywhere have the opportunity to really showcase their talents, so that we can work together and collaborate and transform the world. So it means everything.
Yeah. And so people have the way of being connected to you by checking out the website, knowing what's happening coming up in the fall. But looking back at where you've come from and really navigating through this pandemic, what's it been like for you? What's it been like for the organization getting to where we are today? Because even though we're not out of the woods yet, we are definitely far better than where we were when we first started.
Yeah, I mean, this time is so uncertain, and and we've all been impacted by that uncertainty, by fears and wanting to remain safe and wanting to remain healthy. So it's been a challenge. Like it's been a challenge for me. I'm sure it's been a challenge for you. I'm sure it's a challenge for our viewers, and it's especially challenging when we think about our children and keeping them safe and ensuring that they are able to have long lives where they can thrive. And so as I said, many of our pop communities and schools have been up and running, and we're in business. We're still opening schools. We're still providing resources. We're still ensuring that hygiene programming is provided, and hygiene resources are provided to our students. So we're, as everyone else, we know that we still have lots of work to do in order to make sure that our students feel supported and are capable of thriving in the future. So we don't stop, just like no one else stops, no parent stops, no community stops. So the work continues, and we're optimistic for a hopeful future. As you said, things are getting better. So we're very, very optimistic for a hopeful future.
And when you talk about the work doesn't stop, obviously you are continuing to build schools, but on the average, how long does it take you to get a school up and going from start to finish?
It really depends. It depends on the country. It depends on the relationships that we have with country governments. But anywhere between 6 months, 6 to 8 months is about the time. So our communities participate. They participate. They offer 20% of the resources to creating the schools. They actually come together to physically build the school. So it's a big community effort in order to ensure that that school breaks ground. But it takes about roughly 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, and how rough is it to recruit teachers for these particular schools, given the fact that you're starting from the ground up and starting in a new way?
You'd be surprised. There are so many. If you participate in a story of promise, you'll hear about our incredible leaders, and you'll understand the hope and the opportunity that individuals are born with. It's just our birthright, and so many people understand how important education is within their communities and aspire to that, aspire to teaching, aspire to ensuring that students are able to move forward in life. Or they aspire to building within their own communities and making sure that students have different outcomes that maybe other people that they've known in their community have. So there's tons of opportunity and aspiration in our local communities, and people are often wanting to go into the teaching profession and to support our students and our children.
Well, Kaylee, I want to thank you so much for joining us here on the show. And you guys are doing some amazing work across the world. And it's good to see that not only the work is going on, but the actual impact of what's going on. Before we leave, I do want to give you an opportunity for somebody, once again, who may just be joining and saying, listen, I want to be able to know more about the organization. Where can they catch up and where can they find out? Take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we encourage everyone to visit us on pencilsofpromise.org. There are multiple ways to participate. Surprisingly, it only costs $50,000 to build a school. And so many people come together and they crowdfund those funds, and there's schools dedicated to people all around the United States, all around the world. And so there's always that way to participate. You can also support a classroom or support some of our electronic technology, as well as just getting more information and hearing more about it and becoming an advocate for global education equality. And all of those things you can follow us and find on our website and on our social media at Pencils of Promise.
Well, Kylie, we have to leave it there, but I want to thank you so much for the work that you're doing, not just impacting individuals and lives, but actually a community and transforming them. Great work by the Pencils of Promise, and we'll continue to bring your information to our viewers here on the Social Justice Forums.